Hey guys, it's Harris here. So as you're watching this video, you'll probably be thinking, right? You see a lot of Bukit Jalil properties, you see a lot of the ads, but should you go for this location or should you go for mature enclave like Bangsa or Mont Kiara? So today, right, I'm actually using this opportunity to unveil also a new project at Bukit Jalil called the Queenswoodz. To really answer the question, we'll look at this project from these three main angles. Number one, which is the accessibility. How well will the project be integrated to the current traffic condition in Bukit Jalil? Number two, we will look at the infrastructure. How will the developer actually improve the living standard or living quality in that location? And number three, which is the price trend. To answer whether is this really the right time to buy into the project. So if you want to know the answer, stay tuned to find out.
Buy house, ask house lah.
So right now, we are looking at the map of Queenswoodz. So as you can see, the noticeable difference of Queenswoodz is that it's surrounded by very matured commercial area, including Jalil Link, where here you can find banks, food and groceries. As well, you have the park, okay, which is the 80-acre park, as well also the Pavilion Shopping Mall. And if you look at the top, you also have this Awam Besar LRT, which actually serves as the main line to connect to the main station, such as you have Bukit Jalil, which is right here, the Bukit Jalil station, as well as the Sri Petaling LRT station, which that itself will link to the IMU. So just now as I check out the scale model, I realized that Queenswoodz is one of the few new developments in the market, especially in KL, which is emphasized on the on-stay living. So why I say that Queenswoodz actually cater to the on-stay market, as you can see, based on the layout, majority of the units, right, they have this very wide living and dining space, as you can see from here. So it doesn't give you that narrow feeling, right? So if you stay in a landed, this is what you probably will get as well, with 20 feet living and dining space, with an open kitchen, as well as a place for a wet kitchen. And every rooms here, you can see, can fit in a queen size bed, okay? And this is only 1,002 square feet. If you go for the 1,004 square feet, you can even opt for a dual key design. So dual key design means that you actually have a separate studio unit so that you can either stay or rent out. And here is the common three rooms that you can see. And another reason why I say it promotes on-stay living is because of this design. So in Queenswoodz, there are two towers, and each tower actually comes with this windmill design. So the windmill design actually promotes two things. Number one, which is privacy. Why so? Because when you do a windmill design, you can actually get more corner units. And on top of that, each corridor will serve lesser unit, and it promotes cross ventilation so that you can get very windy corridors and the lightings will be very nice. Queenswoodz is one of the projects that is overlooking the Bukit Jalil Golf and Country Resort as well as the Bukit Jalil Park. So just imagine that more than 150 acres of greenery right in front of you. So if you're a person who like the kind of environment that let you live the KL lifestyle without the stress of city density, I think this is one of the rare developments which offer views that open up to greenery rather than just buildings. So, in order to understand, right, where about Queenswoodz location is in the context of the whole of Bukit Jalil, I actually plot it down on a map so that you can see. So here is where Queenswoodz located. I've also separated Bukit Jalil into several key zoning so that you can see for yourself how is Queenswoodz location different from the other areas of Bukit Jalil. Starting from the furthest left, we have the industrial area, where here you can see Kinrara Industrial Park. So there you can find a lot of light to mid industrial, focusing on warehousing, manufacturing, and automotive sales. And if you like something more residential, there's also some residential developments located on the further south Bukit Jalil, where here you can find a lot of condominiums and landed houses. So in this area is where you can find a lot of medical related industry, such as the first 1,000 bed international hospital in Bukit Jalil, and also medical suites, senior living residences, as well as wellness hotel, which is all combined into one integrated ecosystem. So if you are someone who appreciates new infrastructure or quiet living environment, you can also consider this location. So on the east side, this is where the stadium is. So in this location, not only you can find two LRT stations, there's also two universities here, including IMU and APU. And if possible, I also want to bring your attention to the south part because this is also where the technology park is. So for this technology park, it's actually established long time ago. ever since the mid 1990s. And then the total land size here is about 750 acres. And why is this important, right? Because I believe, right, here in future, it will house a lot of R&D, tech startup, innovation and incubation, which will house a lot of companies, university, tech-related facilities. So I foresee here, right, in future will be a hub for employment as well as innovation, which is something to look out for. So coming back to the Queenswoodz location, it's also considered as the backbone of Bukit Jalil, especially it's actually connecting to the Bukit Jalil golf course, as well as the Kesas Highway. And on top of that, you also have Pavilion Shopping Mall here. The upside is you are incredibly central. Basically, you go anywhere, including LRT station, is all within 5 minutes. So here, I also want to address one question which is asked by my followers. Hey Harris, if I stay near the concert, isn't it will be jammed? Well, the way I see it is that if let's say there's a major event happening, then of course, anywhere that you stay, be it near the mall or near any hotspot, yes, there will be more cars. So what you can do is you can always plan ahead, because major events normally happen not every day, right? And secondly is you can also take the LRT, because I think if you're lazy to drive, you can always walk to the LRT station. So for the next part, we're going to look into how will the developer improve the infrastructure in this area so that the quality of living will not be compromised. And here, just to show you one of it. So this is actually one of their promises, which is for a sustainable future. So if you are new to this, it basically means nowadays developer, they will incorporate this called green living in the development itself. To name a few, you can see that they will emphasize a lot on the quality of glass use. So here, just to show you, they are using the 8.38 mm thickness laminated glass to reduce the noise as well to provide better safety. Okay. And also you can see things like, for example, they will use like saltwater pool, they will have convenience store, as well as other features, including water filter in the development itself, right? So all these micro things, right, actually will make a difference in the longer term, especially when it comes to maintaining the project. And just to give you another example, here you also can see the developer actually reserve some space for this green park, which is about 1.5 acre big. Here you can see the developer also reserve some space for this green park, which is 1.5 acre big. So as a resident, you can actually walk down and then you can stroll in this park. So for those who have kids, right, they can come to the playground, they can enjoy the basketball court. So it also promotes a community living. And you can see they also have this access where from here you can walk out, and this is actually the commercial zone. Right, so to show you another part, which is the walkway. So there will also be a walkway to link you to the LRT station. So another feature is the parking, because here they are using the speed ramp system. So speed ramp actually reduce the need to turn every rounds in order to reach your car park. So with that, you can actually save up the traveling time within the car park itself. And here, just to show you some of the shots from the facilities. So Exim Projects, right, is known for building family-oriented facilities. That's why you can see here, you have like a pickleball court, basketball court here. Okay, not sure whether can you see clearly, but you can see there's an elevated gym, which is a full glass, and then there's a swimming pool below, right? And of course, on this side, you also have your basketball court, right? You have your garden. And the good thing is all the garden here come with ramps, so it's actually elderly friendly, right? And then you have more space for outdoor gym, right? And I presume this is also for the elderly as well. And also a lot of common areas to hang out. And you also have your dining lounges here where you can book it for party and functions. Okay, right now I'm checking out one of their showroom, which is the 1,410 square feet. It's a Type E, which is considered a 4 rooms with dual key concept. So now let me show you what is dual key concept means. So this is actually one of the main unit which you can find is a kitchen, living, dining, all under one space. Okay, and there is another space here. So this is actually a studio unit. Okay, so how is it different? It's like you have your own kitchen cabinet here, as you can see. So you can do your own cooking here. And also you have your own ensuite bathroom, okay, which is a decent size. And lastly, the bed, okay. So you can imagine, right, actually living in here is almost as if you are living in a studio unit. So this is one of the advantage of dual key, whereby you can actually rent out one space and live in another. So just to show you another side, so this is the 3-bedroom, okay. So you get the full kitchen cabinet with the island. As well, you also have the wet kitchen behind. So who you can target with this layout? If let's say for own stay, I think it's decent size for up to 6 packs. If let's say you are renting out, you can also target like family people who opt for more roomy space. Like you have the proper living and dining with up to 6-seater, as you can see. And I feel, right, because the width of the living is 20 feet, it opens up the area to make it bigger than it seems. And let me show you. This is the bathroom. Okay. And then this is the rooms with queen size bed fitted, as well as a small bedroom for your kids, or can be a office, right? And last but not least, which is the master. So here you can see you can easily fit a king size bed, okay, place for you to make up, as well as a walk-in wardrobe here, right? It's quite a big space. And here is the master bathroom. Okay, so as we look into the price trend, right, there are a few things that we can notice. Here, let me highlight what are the top 3 transacted projects, or in more specific, high-rise in Bukit Jalil. So let's start with the third, which is the KM1 East, which is a freehold condominium located next to the Bukit Jalil golf course. So right here, it indicates that the price per square feet, which is transacted recently, is averaging at around 730 per square feet. So if you look at the quantum, it's actually ranging from 1.25 million onwards. And I can say that why this project is so favorable, part of the reason is because of the big build up, as well as the nice view facing the golf and green. The second one, we have the residential park, or we also call as the park. Okay, so this is actually a freehold development which is right adjacent to the Pavilion Shopping Mall. And recent reports suggest that the price per square feet has transacted at 914 per square feet. And for the number 1, is actually, not surprisingly, the Park 2, which is the newest phase just completed at the Pavilion development. So for this project, it's directly integrated into the Pavilion Shopping Mall. And recent transaction has shows that the per square feet is transacting at 1,060 per square feet, making it one of the highest transacted property right now in Bukit Jalil. So based on these 3 examples, we can also see that actually the demand for Bukit Jalil are mainly coming from people who want to stay near Pavilion Bukit Jalil. And I believe one of the reasons is because it's the one and only development in the whole Bukit Jalil where it's the most integrated. Secondly, I believe because of the target segment, where it's target the middle to upper class, it also separates itself from the other development. So when you are buying into such segment, you can also enjoy a better rental return, partly because the tenant profile will be different. So for the number 3 reason, I believe if today you want to buy a property in Bukit Jalil, if you have a decent view, especially facing the park and golf view, you can ask for a better pricing. Now, I also want to take this chance, right, to address another question. Will Bukit Jalil, right, face oversupply issue due to the new developments coming in? Well, the way I see it is that before you decide to invest here, right, you must understand where are the demand coming from. So here, I list down 4 major core demand in Bukit Jalil. Number 1, you have the students, which is coming from the university like APU and IMU. Secondly, you also have the young working professionals, which are based around KL, PJ, Chera, Subang, because Bukit Jalil is like the center location. And thirdly, there are also a lot of families who prefer to stay in Bukit Jalil, mainly because nearby you have a lot of amenities such as schools, such as universities, such as malls, such as park. So all these, right, play a role as well. And number 4, we also have a lot of future medical professionals, especially with the KL Wellness City upcoming. And lastly, we also have a lot of expatriate, especially from the mainland, Japan, Korea, who like the environment here due to the fact that here is less dense. So with this being said, right, the layout and the view that you choose will indirectly determine the type of tenants that you will attract. And with this, right, I also done a rental forecast whereby here, based on the different type of layout and based on the average market rental price, you can find how much is the yield that you'll be getting. So if you want a further analysis on which project is most suitable for your objective, be it owns or investment, I have done an ebook which I compile all the new launches in Bukit Jalil, and you can find the link below. Okay, before we go to the conclusion, I also want to take this chance to answer one question which is being asked a lot of times, which is, hey Harissa, if I were to invest in a leasehold project in Bukit Jalil now, will it matter in the future or will my value be affected, especially older developments are freehold? In order to answer this, right, let me share to you some background story about Bukit Jalil. So Bukit Jalil was developed back in 1990s by the government for the Commonwealth Games. And in order to attract more residents to move in, they actually released a lot of freehold land. That's why you can see older developments like Vista Commonwealth, Savannah, Kiara Residences are all freehold. But one thing to take note, before you decide to invest in such project, right, you must understand those buildings has been there for some time. So you can find that those layout and facilities start to age. So the advantage of buying into newer projects, like for example Queenswoodz, is that you get better facility, you get better infrastructure, the location also is more central and is surrounded by commercial. I still think that it gives a good value proposition, especially for future tenants to stay there. That being said, if your budget allows, of course, you can still go for newer freehold projects in Bukit Jalil, for example, like Orca Residence or Parkin Residence, which I also included in my ebook in case you don't know what are their difference. So whether should you go for free or leasehold, right? Let me share to you one more point. Government recently also just announced some changes to the Urban Renewal Act, whereby they lowered down the requirement for a building to be redeveloped. So what they are trying to promoting? Actually, they are trying to promoting underutilized building or projects which has huge potential to be open for redevelopment. Of course, that will come with a condition whereby last time it will require 100% of the resident to vote, okay, to agree to sell the property only to be developed. Now they lower down to 75% for building which is more than 30 years. So how I see this is, right, I see this as a very good news because it means that there will be lesser abandoned projects or lesser old buildings which has potential but not yet developed to be redeveloped. But most importantly, right, if today you buy a freehold project, it doesn't mean also your building will not subject to redevelopment as well. It all depends on the decision of the residents staying in that particular building. So what I'm trying to point out is that if you today, right, you want to buy a property, my point of view is always prioritize the location, developer, the pricing, rather than just tenure alone. Because as long as you buy at the right location, you don't have to worry that in future there won't be any value for it. In conclusion, is Queenswoodz a good buy? Well, after my research, right, based on the site, the surrounding, the Bukit Jalil location, the future development, as well as all the concerns that's being raised, I think Queenswoodz still has its appeal to the market, especially for people who are looking to start a family and who are looking for good infrastructure amenities nearby their house, especially when you have Pavilion Bukit Jalil, you have the park, you have all the schools, universities, right? But of course, I would still like to hear from you whether after watching this video, will you still have concern on oversupply or you have concern on leasehold and freehold? Feel free to comment below as well. So if you like this type of content, right, feel free to subscribe and follow my channel because I'll be featuring more and more this type of video where I will share my insight, my analysis on any areas that you wish to know. So again, you can also comment below as well. And don't forget, I've also included the Bukit Jalil ebook where I share all the new launching in Bukit Jalil. So don't miss out. Remember to press the link below. So thanks for watching. I will see you at the next video. Bye.